talked about this before, and obviously it's very good that there's progress being made, and that's going to probably happen here in Cavan in the next middle of next year, give or take. And obviously it's very welcome. I'm sure people would agree. We see tidy towns groups out every day of the week. They're doing their best. People that are illegally dumping and stuff like that. And I have to just say, the people who are doing this are arseholes. And the majority, and I have to say, the majority of them, I've seen it every day of the week for the last God knows how many years I've seen it. Like, I nearly have a PhD in this kind of thing. Because I've seen I literally live it every day of the week. Like, let's put it this way, I'm dealing with legal dumping every day of the week. It's a terror what people dump out, just to say. And, and this is the thing I have to say, this is the next part. And I have to say, this is somebody that's experienced and know what's talking about. Every person that you come across that does this kind of stuff gets a big salary at the end of the week. What I'm saying by that is they get a huge salary, and they couldn't be bothered to pay to go to the dump, or they couldn't be bothered to pay for bins. Now, take for example me. I pay 40 something euro a month, nearly €50 a month for my bins, which are for Oxford, take for example. And that's a good few, Bob. If you tally that up every month, you have a good few, maybe 300 or 400, going on 500 maybe you spend a year on the bins. And it's not right, and I'm not saying for me, but for only Joes, only women, single mothers and stuff like that, who are struggling to make ends meet, who are doing things right and stuff like that, and then some arsehole down the road that has a big job as a doctor or an engineer or whoever he is, it comes along and it goes to another county or goes down the road to another community or whatever, not in these local areas. They don't do it in the local areas. They always go to another county because they're afraid of being caught and stuff like that. But thankfully now, as I say, I could go on and on and on. But I've come across this. I've seen people who are people who have big jobs and who are people who have cows and stuff like that, who are going to the back end of fucking different counties. Like, I used to tell you, there's people coming from Dublin literally down to Cavan to do that. Just to say, like, how low can you get, to be totally honest? Let's put it that way. But it's senseless. It's senseless at the end of the day, especially because these people. I wouldn't mind if you didn't have the money and stuff like that, but they have the money. They just refuse to spend it. It's about that in terms of that. And again, it's not that big a thing. Again, as somebody that's not an only salary, isn't a big salary. You have to do without it. As simple as that. That's the way you should. That's the way you have to be. You have responsibilities as a citizen to look after your community, look after your county, look after your country, and to be respectful of all else, to be respectful for your environment, your community, etc., etc. But obviously, it's getting into the heel of the hunt of it, I suppose, without me going on the tangent. So thankfully, they will start doing this. They will have people calling to people's houses in Cavan. Probably sometimes, as I say, we don't really know yet. But it has been approved by the councillors, as far as I can gather, which it seems to be so, because I've seen evidence to say that. And most likely it has, because it's been reported on in the local media too, and I've seen documents about it. So obviously that's a great step. So first of all, just to say to people, so if they'll be coming to people's houses basically, to see, do you have documents saying you go to the dump. Take for example, you get, every time you go to the dump, you get a docket or receipt saying, I went to the dump with a fridge or whatever, and I paid €50 or whatever. Just to say, I went to the dump, and say you go every month or every 2 months or every half a year or something, that you put the rubbish aside and you go every half a year, right? You have the docket saying, yeah, you went to the dump, yeah, that's 100%, yeah, no problem there. And if you have your bins like myself here, you have your bins at the back, right? You have them there, you put them out. Every time they come around to collect them, you pay it. People, they'll be like, yeah, no problem, yeah, because you can show what you can see where the rubbish, if you bring it to the dump and you have your bins, yeah, they're like totally fine. But you have to ask this question. Well, this is the main thing, because you'll be able to catch people out basically. That if they don't have a bin, and they don't go to the dump, where do you put your rubbish? That's the main question. And that's, they can't really come up with, beforehand they used to come up with every excuse under the sun, because obviously we couldn't barge in to say, do you have a bin and stuff like that. We obviously could get, we know who's doing it. Like, we have a fair idea. We have an idea basically. But it's the fact that the law is there at the moment in time. The law is just the biggest load of bollocks you could come up with. Because half of these people, when they get caught doing it, this is the best part. Well, there's evidence and there's many things, the judges let them off, and that's the best part. And they never go, and it takes donkey's years for it to go to court. That's the best thing. The judges just let them off, and that's just the best part. That's like literally the best part. The judges are the biggest obstacle nearly at this stage. But at the end of the day, they can't really explain. Say for somebody goes out to another county to dump, and somebody calls to the house, now a litter enforcement officer basically, calls to the house and says, where's your bin? Where's your dockets for the dump? Where do you put your rubbish? Because if you burn your rubbish too, it's an offence too. You can't do that. You can't just light a big bonfire and throw all your rubbish in that. Obviously, there's plastic and stuff that goes up into the atmosphere. It isn't good. And it isn't the proper way to dispose of stuff. It's the best way to dispose of it by binning or going to the dump. It's not the best way to be able to burn and stuff. So either the one, they kind of fucked either way. Let's put it that way, because if you're born it, then you're committing an offence. If you can't explain where you're putting your rubbish, then obviously the next theory is not where are you putting. Are you putting them into street bins? Or are you throwing it into ditches along the road? You have to explain this. You couldn't really, because you're caught very, very desperately. Let's put it that way. Because and it's only fair, because as I say, there is people out there who are struggling to pay bills, struggling to pay electricity, the rent and stuff like that. And I've come across them. But the majority of people you come across day to day, and you hear about these incidents, and you see it across the whole country. People who have big salaries, doctors. I've seen doctors literally legally dumping and stuff like that. I've seen it happen. I've literally come across it myself. And these people on big salaries, they're on more than €1,000 a week. And compared to me, I'm only on barely 400 or so a week, and I have to fork out, the €50 every month. And I have no problem with it, because it's the right way of doing it. I have, as a citizen of a country, of a county, particularly County Cavan, you have responsibilities to your community and to your county to behave responsibly. In terms of what you do for society in Cavan, you have to behave responsibly. You can't be a nuisance basically to society by going out and dumping and expecting somebody else to go and clean it up for you. You can't do that. Simple as that. Even if they're getting paid or they're not getting paid, you simply cannot do that. If they had done that to you, you'd be very upset too, the people. And especially because a lot of these people too that do it, they wouldn't do it at home. But if somebody threw an egg dropping in their garden, they'd be literally winging the gals, and half the country be out, and they have the TDs and everything rang and everything. Because when you go into their houses, it's like fucking the palace of Versailles, to be totally honest. They simply wouldn't do it in their own house, and if somebody done it in their backyard, and there'd be war about it. It's only being fair, and that's the word we have to use, is being fair. And I know people will say it's a bit of an overreach doing what they are doing, going to people's houses and basically not really, you could use the word interrogate, but it's the only way, really, to kind of get them. And again, to strengthen the law that's there on illegal dumping and littering and stuff, it has to be done. And same with dog fouling and stuff, you have to do it, because we've seen it, we see already the breakdown of law and order in terms of assaults and different things, murders and stuff like that. It's the basic function of society to keep society going. It's the basic thing. It's these are the basic laws that keep society together, that these are the smallest law thing, and if you can't enforce them, what hope do you have enforcing higher laws, if that makes any sense? Because these are the basic small civil matters that should be enforced. And again, it's just people just let go rampant, break the law, and that's not fair. It isn't fair on people that are doing the right thing, being responsible. It isn't fair on them. It isn't fair on communities. It isn't fair on tidy towns groups. It isn't fair on individuals taking it upon themselves to keep their community clean and tidy. It isn't fair, and all the hard work and everything they put into it isn't fair, and these people have to be dealt with and have to be prosecuted very heavily, may I say, and have to be, and may I add too, they should be made go out onto the streets and clean up. They should be made do community service, and they should be made do it for a long time and put their backs into it, and they should be probably named and shamed in the local newspaper, or the employee or the employer should know that they're not behaving responsible. That's simple as that. Particularly again, if they have such a high up job, I've seen it all. Literally, I could say a few instances, but you can't really say too much. But I've seen it all. I literally have seen it all. I've seen higher literally people in society on big salaries. I've seen one person on a €2,000 salary a week to take home. This is before he gets 4,000. The government take the rest of it off with taxes and stuff. But 2,000 a week, and you dumping your rubbish in somebody else's, it's in a public bin. He's dumping into a public bin when he has the salary of that, and he has 2 cows at the house. 2 cows at the house. He has 2 cows of 50,000 each. your mind boggles when you see that. Your mind does boggle because you're like, what? That's what you have to ask yourself. Like, it's crazy stuff. Like, it is crazy, crazy stuff. And the same with public bins. People shouldn't be dumping household rubbish into public bins. It's alright if you have a sweet wrapper or a drink, right? Or you have even a McDonald's meal, right? You're going past the bin in the car, right? You throw a McDonald's meal. But people are literally going, and I've seen it day after day, people are going with kettles and dumping them into bin, electronic stuff, into the bins, into public bins and stuff. Like, something needs to change because them bins have been misused in some places of the county. And, something has to change. Thank you.